talk about straight ankle locks, and let's get down to the fundamentals again here. So let's see. So basically, when you're getting into the ankle lock position, I like entering from I like entering right into Ashigarami position because that's the control position. We all know how to get there, right? So, right. So I guess you step in here, and this is the Ashigarami position right here, right? So you got your knee across here. I typically put my foot on the hamstring on the other side. This foot goes in the hip, and squeeze your legs together. So you're isolating his leg, and I'm covering my foot because really, a lot of times what they want to do is push your foot down. So you squeeze this, so it makes it hard for him. Because this Ashigarami position, one of the weaknesses is that there's a space here that he can slip his hip out of, right there. Yeah. Okay, so it's secure, but it's not completely secure because there is an escape. So you just got to keep it tight. And I talked about this last week. When you're in this position, don't start messing around with the ankle right away. All right. You want to focus more on controlling the leg. So what I do is I control the knee right here. You don't have to control with both hands, especially with the gi. You can grab the cloth and just hold on to it like this because the most important thing is to keep his leg in here. Okay. If you start messing around down here, it's easy for him to start pulling his leg back out of there and start messing with your feet. Okay, so I typically pull and I hold on up above the knee, and then if you want, you can control hands like this right here. Okay. Now this position, look at my elbow. I'm not in this hand in general. I'm not really going for the ankle lock at this point, right? And there's really no need to. The way I do an ankle lock, a lot of people. It's not wrong either. A lot of people do this, right? They'll overhook the ankle and then they'll start putting pressure like this. I like to do it more like so in that sense, you're putting pressure like this. What I like to do is put pressure like this. So I like to wrap it behind my body like this, and I put pressure with my elbow this way. Okay, so it seems completely opposite of what you're doing here, because here you're doing this. And notice my elbow going outward, right? So it's not really putting pressure. What I do is I point my fist out, and I bring my elbow in, so it's going underneath me, like that, okay? So you get here, trap his leg, try to control his hip, make sure he's not standing up. If he stands up, he's going to put weight on that foot, and it's going to be hard to ankle lock him, right? See how he's trying to stand up, so I'm like pushing him down to the floor. And I got this under here so I can control his rotation motion. So right there. Now I'm going to start pushing this behind me. You can give it a little bit of a lift too if you want. Start pushing it under. And the good thing about this is, see, my upper body is pretty far away from him because he wants to grab my collar. He wants to grab my hands and all this kind of stuff just so he can pull me and he can push his foot through. Okay, that's like a defense for the ankle lock. But I'm keeping him away with my shin and my foot. Okay, so I can lift this, start pushing this under. Look at see my fist now? Right, a lot of people really want to do this. And you have to kind of resist. For this specific one, you have to resist this urge, right? So keep pushing. And also what I'm doing is I'm moving my upper body kind of like hands of a clock like this, but I'm keeping his hip, my lower body, my feet are keeping him in the same place. So I'm not rotating all of us around, I'm just rotating my upper body like this. Okay? And I wasn't even done really tightening up when he tapped already because that wasn't even the finishing move. But you can see how tight it was getting, right? So you get here, I'm controlling his leg, give this a little bit of a lift, start pushing your elbow underneath. Keep going. Now, basically I'm my ribs are laying on his ankle. Okay, it's pretty tight right now. Look up, both hands free. I'm not even doing this with any hands, right? And then I just hip into it right there. Okay, don't do this because he'll grab your hand, right? I'm showing off right now, so never show off like this, and then let him grab your hands. Right, so there, and then hip in. Okay? Get to this position. Okay? Ashigurami, step into it. Right here. Most important thing is the control. Please keep your upper body weight. He wants to grab you at this point. Control the knee. See how I'm pushing him away? Now I'm going to lift. My fist goes like that. All right? And this is just an exaggeration. You don't have to do this. But keep in mind, if you don't point your fist out, it's kind of hard to push your elbow in like that. So again, people want to do this, but look at my elbow. Now it's pressuring that way. That's not where I want the pressure to go. All right? You lift, and go like that. Yeah. And and you keep your hands, you see how I'm hopping, and he's moving a little bit. So you want to try to resist him hopping around with you. Hop, there, right there. Okay? Now, hard to see under there, but trust me, it's really tight, and then you just hit it. Okay? Alright, this is one of my favorite ones here. It uses the gi, so I'm using a lot of leverage. And it's similar to this one right here. Alright? And actually it's more similar to that shooter one I showed the other day where we were going like with this right here. So I'm putting pressure on the top of the foot here. But instead of my hand, I'm going to use my gi this time. Okay? So slide in here. Control, again, the control is the most important thing, right? So if you're all loose and stuff, he's going to get out of there. And you're not even getting an opportunity to try, right? So, so the most important thing, like I said, is controlling his hip, controlling his upper body movement, and making sure he can't get his leg out of here, right? All right, so now you're going to take the gi, you're going to undo your gi, slide it underneath his foot here. Okay, and then you want to make sure you get it close to his heel. Just like any normal good ankle lock, you don't want to be way up here doing it. You want to be all the way down by the end of the lever, right? So by his foot here. So you pull this out. All right, get to this position right here. So it'll stop right about at his heel. Okay, and then you're gonna just go on top of his foot here, grab, and you can even do this with one hand too. Again. Okay, so essentially it's happening. I can demonstrate this. You're going here. You're just taking your forearm, putting it on top of his foot, and then grabbing here. Okay, so it creates a really strong fulcrum effect, right? And you might have to play around with this because if it's like this right here, then his foot's bending, so that's not hurting. So you want to make sure. And it's different than the other one. The other one was bending his foot this way. Right? What I'm doing here is I'm putting pressure on the top there. My gi is underneath, and I'm putting a lot of pressure like that. So I get traditional foot lock. All right. So get that under there. All right. Adjust. Okay. Make this tight. So don't grab up here. You could do it, but you have to be really strong to do this. Okay. So really, what you want to do is put the pressure with your forearm on top of his toes here, and then grab all the way down here, like that. So now his foot is kind of trapped in there, right? And remember, I'm still encircling his legs with my legs. I'm squeezing his legs so it can't move around, right? So here, and then you just like that. Oops, this way. So slide in, take your gi out, wrap it underneath, all right, and if you're leaning on your elbow, you might want to make space, get off of it, get right here, there, all right. And then once you got that on there, now it's all set. You can grab it with both hands if you want. There's a lot of pressure there, all right. But you see how I keep adjusting because I feel it moving around, right? So you want to make sure you get to a point where it's not moving, and then you just point this. Okay, and this hip motion in there like that. Let's see if we can do it this way. So, Ashigurami position. All right, control his leg. Pull this out. Slide that under there. Okay. And at this point, he's starting to get worried, so he'll start getting desperate and grab you. Right? Keep them away. This doesn't, they'll do this. This is fine. Right? You don't want them doing that when you're doing a regular football. Right? So here, put your forearm on top, one hand or both hands. Just hip it. You can see where that pressure is, right? Okay. Ashigurami. Right there. Take your gi out. Slide it underneath, all the way down by the heel. Okay. Right there. And then forearm goes on top of her foot and grab all the way down. You don't want any slack. And right here, if you want, you can grab with both hands like this, or you could actually finish it with one hand, but you gotta have a strong grip, keep your grip strong, and then just tip into it. Or both hands. See, I can even lift it just, because I'm actually leaning on her toes right now, so they're not going anywhere. Okay? So the hip comes into play a lot here. Okay? Guys, got that? All right. I recommend you get this because this is available a lot, and it's so strong. It's so strong because you're using your gi, right? It's not even you're using their gi because sometimes it's not available. Your gi is always there. It's your gi, right? So you just slide it under. And in my experience, the hardest part is actually getting that gi underneath it. Okay. So that's why the control of the leg is so important in that Ashigurami position, because you need a little bit of time to start working on your setup. So keep that there, start pulling this out, and then figure out how to slide it under there. Once you slide it under there, you gotta make sure it's all the way down by the heel, and then you're off. You're good to go. Okay? All right, let's give it a try on 3, 1, 2, 3.